Hi, I'm Sonya Dove, and today I'm presenting Rosé All Day with Wella Professionals and Modern Salon. So this is my model, Michaela, and as you can see, Michaela has some deeper hair here, and I'm going to show you her before picture later because we've got plenty to do. So on her hair, what I did, we want to create a rose brown. Now, what's interesting about a rose brown is we want to create an overall look. So I started off on her hair with baby lights, and I'm just going to lift up a section for you here so you can see. What's important when doing baby lights is they are very, very fine. They're all the way through, and I used our Blondor powder lightener, and we used 4% Colour Touch Emulsion, which is actually 13 volume, and gave her baby lights all the way through. The key point about the baby lights is that I only lightened them up to like a pale gold, not too light. I still got a lot of warmth in there, as you can see. That's because when creating a rose gold or a rose brown colour, we want to keep that warmth in there. So, preparation, we've created the baby lights. I think at this point, let's look at Michaela's before picture, and you can see what we started off with before I applied my baby lights. So there you can see she has about a natural level 4, virgin hair. Very, very lucky I must say. It's not often we can find hair that hasn't got too much colour nowadays. So I created my baby lights, very fine weave, and this is the result. So now what I'm doing, I'm applying a product that I absolutely love. As you can see, I wear it myself, is Colour Fresh Create. And I am applying Colour Fresh Create on top of all of her hair. It's not necessary just to apply it to just the light pieces. I apply it all over because it is very, very conditioning. It's an acid colour. And making sure that I apply the colour from roots to ends all the way through and working that product in. Very, very important, because we know if I leave any blonde out or any sections out, that she's going to have those highlights show. So just working through small sections. I'm going to actually turn you around a little bit, Michaela. That's it. You can work that in. Now, the formulation. The formulation I have of our Colour Fresh Create is, it's 2 colours. It's our Nudist Pink and also our Pure Violet. So the formulation, for the ones of you that like to measure, it is 60 grams of Nudist Pink to 10 grams of Pure Violet. Now, I'm one of these hairdressers, believe it or not. I failed maths when I was at school, so I'm not good at adding up. So I really rely on the scale. But I'm one of these hairdressers, what you see is what you get. So what I do is I like to start off with the Pure Violet first, if you're not going to measure it, a small amount of Pure Violet, and then keep adding my Nudist Pink and checking it just by putting the brush, the tint brush, either on a white towel, a piece of paper, a piece of tissue, something white and something absorbent. Because really and truthfully, what you see is what you get. And that's usually how I work if I don't have the time to always measure. So working forward, bringing the hair back. There we are. So there's that shot of me really working out what's the best rose brown colour that I can create. And sometimes it takes a bit of mixing, but it's fun. It's like being an artist, a colour artist. That's what I love, Colour Fresh Create, why I love it. It's like paint, playing. And what I was explaining to Michaela as well is once this colour's washed out and we're back to her highlights, she could try another colour. She could try any colour because now we've got the base of the baby lights in there. And she can have something different next time. Maybe next time, I suggested to her earlier, purple would be great, a really nice deep purple, a vibrant purple. So in the light, you can see the purple hue, and it's going to pick up on those baby lights. Working up.
Sonya, you're getting a lot of hellos here.
Oh.
Hellos here from Nick Khan in Canada.
Ah, Nick Khan, that's brilliant.
And hellos here from Tina and Patrick, Gustavo, Rosa, Ju.
Ah, fantastic. Oh, people are up bright and early. That's great. Well, it's not that bright. It's 11 o'clock here on the Pacific, but it's later everywhere else. But thank you. That's great. It's fantastic. I think rose brown is one of those colours that it's a seamless blend of very light pieces of this dusty rose on a brunette. Someone asked me earlier about what sort of highlights you could do this on. And when you have balayage or solid lightning on the ends, but you have a deeper root, you can create this colour very easily, but the blending of everything together is very different. That's why I like to go in with the baby lights. Also, another foil technique is foliage, where you put the baby lights in foil, but you don't have it near the root so much. So that's another example how you can create an overall look. So just apply that all the way through, making sure saturation is key. Working that in. I thought, what a great title for this a day with Sonya Dove and Modern Salon, Rosé all day. I don't have any rosé here, but I'm certainly going to pour myself a glass after this is finished because it's one of my favourite colours, and drinks, just saying. There we are.
Sonya, you have some more hellos here
Oh.
from Christopher Citroni, from
Ah.
Jewel,
Oh, that's brilliant. Hi, Christopher.
from Linda, Shazia,
Oh, yes. Oh,
Claudia,
my God.
Dawn.
Oh, wow. I feel so popular. Hello.
Hellos from New York and from Carla.
Oh, gosh. That is brilliant. Hello to everybody that's saying hello. So, last thing, working it through, making sure it's all the way through to the mid-lengths and ends. Pinning that up. Now, probably going to let Michaela process for about 15 minutes because you are going to see the end result. She's going to come back and you're going to see her hair finished. And then we've got some cool GHD tips that I'm going to share with you on styling. So application all finished. So just to recap the formula, it's 60 grams of Nudist pink with 10 grams of pure violet. And it's going to create this beautiful, smoky, soft rosé in a brunette base. So a rosé brunette. So I'm going to let Michaela go off. You all ready? Yes. See you in a minute. And Madeline. So this is Madeline. Let's take off my gloves because we don't want pink. The Nudist pink in Madeline's here. So here we have Madeline. And with Madeline's hair, she's, as you can see, she's pre-lightened already. When she arrived into me, she had a little bit of a root, which I really liked. I didn't want to lighten her up altogether. So I wanted to keep that root area. So I went in, and this time I'm going to be using Colour Fresh. So before we had Colour Fresh Create, and now we're using Colour Fresh. Colour Fresh is an acidic colour. It's about a 6.5 acidity, and it's amazing. I love it. The condition that you get from Colour Fresh is, I mean, you just can't beat it. It's fabulous. So what I did, I went in on Madeline's hair, and I used 8/81, and I'll just lift up her hair. You can see that in there. That is her natural level there, and then a little bit further out, I went in with our 8-stroke-8-1. That is a level 8 pearl ash, and just applied a little root retouch on there to give it a soft shadow. I also did the same all the way around the perimeter here. You can see she's a bit deeper through this perimeter area all the way round. So from this back area and the new growth all over, we went in with 8-stroke-8-1. So to create a rose blonde, I'm going to be using our Colour Fresh. So let me swap my bowls over. And I'm going to apply it to dry hair. You can apply it to dry or dampened hair, but if the hair's dampened, I highly recommend that you really get most of the excess of water out of the hair. So putting my gloves on. Now, our Colour Fresh. Yes. Now, what you can see is that picture up there is showing you my testing to get the right colour. So you heard me mention earlier, what you see is what you get. For me, remember I said I failed maths and I'm not very good with numbers. So I'm very visual as a hairdresser. And I find in my teachings, in classes, there are two types of learning types. One type learns on measuring and formulations based on figures and numbers and how many grams. And other people learn better by seeing the colour, seeing what you see is what you get. So I'm that sort of person. So you can see that picture earlier. That was me testing the colour to get the exact tone that I want, a rose blonde tone on Madeline's hair. And what I did, I've used 5-stroke-5-5, which is a level 5 red violet. And also I've used a 0-stroke-8 in Colour Touch. Not in Colour Touch, I beg your pardon, in Colour Fresh. So let's recap on that. The two formulations I've used, I'm going to give you the exact amounts in a minute, is 0-stroke-8 in Colour Fresh and 5-stroke-5-5. So the proportions. The proportions are 0.5 grams of 5.5. Now, 5-stroke-5-5. What happens with that? I put that in the bowl first because that's my deepest colour. So I always start off with my darker colour being put in, and then I add my diluter. In this case, my diluting shade is 0-stroke-8 in Colour Fresh. Working it all the way through, you can see the consistency. It's very, very easy to apply. Taking the hair, bringing it back in and just applying it. You can apply Colour Fresh with the bottle, but because I've used two colours, I have it in a bowl here. So I'm going to just apply it with bowl and brush. So the proportions, let's get back to the proportions. It is 0.5 of the 5-stroke-5-5 with 50 grams, which is a lot, of the 0-stroke-8 in Colour Fresh. What that is, it's that cool violet mixed with the 5-stroke-5-5 that gives the most beautiful, gorgeous rose blonde, rosé blonde. Working it through. Now, on Madeline's hair, you can see she's lightened up to a very light blonde. She's got no gold in it. So you always have to remember when using Colour Fresh or Colour Fresh Create, basically they're a direct dye, is that it always depends on what you put it on. So if you're going to be putting this formulation on hair that's very gold, you're going to get a slightly warmer result and a different result. So it always depends what you put it on That's really key. It's back to color basics, really, to be honest with you. It's that color wheel and color basics. How thick is the hair? Madeline's hair is fine in texture, so I know it's going to take the color well. Whereas if it's coarser, you maybe need to leave it on a little bit longer.
Sonia, you have a question from Johnny Garcia. Hello from Boston.
Hi, Johnny.
Why don't you touch the root, or why have you chosen to do a root shadow?
So the question from Johnny was, why don't I touch the root? I'm actually touching the root, so I don't know. I'm just applying it to the root as well. But I chose to do a shadow color. Now, I could have easily lightened Madeline's hair up and pre-lightened it all so we had one even tone. But to be honest, Johnny, it's more of a Sonya Dove preference. I love that root. I love that shadow in there. And for me, when it's all lightened, it doesn't have a lot of dimension. It's all one. So I wanted to enhance that root a little bit more than it was, because a little bit of this root, this dark root here that you're seeing, is actually Madeline's natural color. She's about to at least a level 5. So she's quite deep. But some of that out is the 8-stroke-8-1 on her blonde hair. So it gives that lovely soft fade. It adds more dimension. It really gives, I think it gives the root, gives the hair texture. And I'm all about contrast. That's anyone that sees my work and how I like to work and things that I like contrast. I like contrast in color. I like contrast in textures. And it's something that's personal preference to myself. Thank you for that, Johnny. So just applying it, working through. Now, I want to talk a little bit at this point, unless there's any more questions, Rochelle. No, we're good. Are we good? Oh, I have a question.
You have a question here. What is the color direction in 8-stroke-8-1? So can you describe Color Fresh 8-stroke-8-1 a little bit more?
So the question is, can I describe Color Fresh 8-stroke-8-1 a bit more? 8-stroke-8-1, which is the color that I applied at Madeline's root, it is not the color that I'm applying now. It was previously applied at the root to shadow it. It's a level 8. It's pearl ash. So 8 means the level. Stroke is then after the stroke is the tone. And the tone after the stroke is 8 first. So it's mainly 8, then secondary ash. So a level 8 pearl ash. And I applied that to her new growth. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, that's a great question, by the way, is Color Fresh is almost like if you were explaining it in the painting, let's put it to paint and art. If you were describing Color Fresh is like watercolor. It's very sheer. It is a true semi-permanent. It is not mixed with anything. It comes directly out of the bottle. And it's an acid color. That's why I love to use it a lot. Now, why would I use an acid color on Madeline's compared to using, let's say, Color Touch, which is our demi-permanent color? Sometimes you find, and I know this happens for hairdressers, especially on a lightened base, if I may say for anyone in Europe watching, this is a bleached base, lightened here in America. But when you have a lightened base, sometimes the integrity of the hair can be compromised. And it's not advisable to use a demi-permanent color on hair that's the integrity is not so good. So I always like to go in with an acid color. You cannot get any better condition on hair than using an acid color or a semi-permanent. So I want the color on Madeline's to be very soft rosé. You know when you sort of see it, but it's extremely soft. The other thing for Madeline's hair, she is a bleach and tone client, basically, or a lighten and tone client. So I, as a hairdresser, want her hair to be the best integrity that it can be for her. So that's why I've chosen Colour Fresh over using a demi-permanent. And to separate Colour Fresh and Colour Fresh Create, Colour Fresh has more natural colours and soft colours and more of the colours that you would see on your colour chart, ranging from beautiful browns to soft pastel light colours, whereas Colour Fresh Create are our bright direct dyes. Applying that through.
Thank you, Sonia. We have another question here, and a lot of folks are loving it. Lots of beautifuls and great jobs.
Oh, thank you.
Joe has a question here.
Yes.
Why do you start the color at the back of the crown and not from the front? Thank you. Joe from South Carolina.
Joe from South Carolina, lovely, lovely question. I do it automatically, but you've actually made me realize that I need to say why. So I always like to start at the back of the hair, because it might be if something needs to come off sooner, if the back needs to come off sooner than the front, it's much easier to have the head back in the basin and the shampoo bowl and take it off. If I start at the front first and it takes quickly due to porosity, I really would have a hard time trying to take the front off first. That's reason number one. Reason number two is that I like my guests and my clients in the salon to feel like it's an experience having their hair coloured. So I like to start at the back and pull everything towards me and keep it away from their face. Because at the end of the day, application, everything is an experience for our guest and our client. And there's nothing worse than hair colour dripping over the client's face. Keep it nice and neat, nice and tidy. Experience is part of the reason why a guest or client would come back to the salon. So that's another reason, keeping it away from their face, folding everything towards me. Oh, I love that question. Great question. You know, sometimes I realise I do things automatically, and I love these questions because it makes me realise, it challenges me to say why. So the why is those two answers. Make sure, bring it through.
Sonia, when you're using Color Fresh behind the chair, do you find that you're typically using one shade, or are you mixing very often to create custom shades for your clients?
So actually, Rochelle, are people able to hear that question, or do I need to repeat it? Yes. So the question was, do I typically use one shade or custom mix? I'll be honest, sometimes I use one shade, but if I like to create, it's back to the experience. I like to create an experience for my clients that they are coming to me and paying Sonya Dove to have a hair colour that they can't get. So I do like to mix. I must admit, I am a big mixer. And I mix in front of the client. I take the bowl with the Colour Fresh and the Colour Fresh Create. I take my bowl and I put my colour in the bowl and I add to, and I literally, just like that picture that we showed earlier of my swatch, my piece of paper, I take the colour from my bowl, and as simple as, oh, there's the picture, there we are. So you can see, as simple as taking the hair colour and putting it on a piece of paper. Or if you don't have a piece of paper, you've always got a white towel or kitchen roll, and I just literally paint it on like this onto the towel, and I say to the client, are we thinking a little bit more redder than that, or a little bit cooler? And then I custom, and they know I'm creating a colour just for them, a colour that they can't get anywhere else. So I like to do that, but I do like to do it in front of them. So mixing more than one colour is really what I like to do. There's nothing wrong with doing it direct from the bottle at all.
Thank you, Sonia. We love to hear your experience.
Thank you.
So we have a couple more hellos here from Cyprus and from Wales, UK.
Oh, Wales! Ah, gosh, it's brilliant. My brother lives in Wales, sorry.
So we have a question here. How long, roughly, do these colors last?
Ah, yes. So how long do these colours last? I love that question. And it's not a negative question, by the way. A lot of my clients ask me, how long do they ask? And hairdressers ask that, how long do they ask? And it depends on so many different factors. They can last up to 15 washes. They can last up to 10 washes. It really, really depends. And what it depends on is many things. It depends how often does the person wash their hair? How porous is the hair? Is there a lot of minerals in the water where the person's washing their hair? So I don't sort of like to put a figure or a number on it exactly. I say this. It's between 10 to 15 washes. It might only last 5, but guess what? The same as I would say to Madeline is it's an opportunity. It's a positive. Because guess what, Madeline? Rosé today, maybe lavender in 3 weeks' time, maybe a beautiful, soft coral in a month's time. It's not a negative, it's a positive. So I like to look at it as an opportunity. So I love that question. I really do. And what I do with my clients, and I do the same with hairdressers, I don't look at it as a negative question. It's not a negative question. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for having lots of different shades within the year. Madeline could have up to 6, 7 shades of Colour Fresh through the year and keep this beautiful blonde, but keep adding different tones. I think actually I'd like to take this opportunity to mention Madeline's beautiful eye colour. I'd like to turn around. Like, look at those eyes. Let me turn it to the camera. Gorgeous eye colour. Do you know what I would suggest to you, Madeline, another time, is after you've had rosé for a while, is go something more lavender, something cooler. They'll really bring out your eye colour. This colour will as well. But with this eye colour, what I don't see on Madeline with her skin tone and eye colour, I don't see gold, I don't see oranges, and I don't see coppers, like really orangey, yellowy colours. It needs to be more, coral would be nice, even though coral is more of a copper colour, it's a soft copper. But this beautiful eye colour, there's an opportunity of many, many colours you can have on your hair. So I think you should try some others. Yeah. So yes, that's exactly how I would explain it to my guests. Wow, beautiful. God, this is gorgeous. You can see it emulsifies really well, working it through.
Sonya, we have a question here.
Yep.
What is the best one for gray? So since we're talking semi-permanence here,
yes.
Maybe you can give a recommendation for either gray coverage or achieving a nice gray.
So achieving a nice gray, that's what Colour Fresh would be best for achieving a nice gray. So it really depends on what the Colour Fresh is going on. We all know, is it going on salt and pepper hair as a soft glaze, or is it going on pre-lightened hair like Maddie's? So that's a great, great question. So if it's going on salt and pepper hair, it's probably best to we have a 10-stroke 8-1, that's beautiful. 8-stroke 8-1's beautiful as well. And if it's going on pre-lightened hair, you can mix the two together. You can mix 10-stroke 8-1 and 8-stroke 8-1 to get a level 9. So there's many, many opportunities, but those two would be good for a really good grey because you've got the depth of the 10, the level 10 or the level 8. So Maddie's all ready to go and develop. I know Michaela is all ready. In a minute, I'm going to just take my gloves off and turn my GHD. I'm going to be using the GHD Curve Classic Wave Wand. beautiful. Oh, rosé brown. So actually, I want to make sure I finished answering that question of the best color for gray hair. So it really depends if it's lightened, pre-lightened, or if it's salt and pepper. But I would use 8-stroke-8-1 or 10-stroke-8-1 because you've got the depth of a level 8 or a level 10 compared to the 0-stroke-8 because 0 before the slash doesn't have the depth. It's more sheer, a little bit more like a stronger purple shampoo or violet shampoo. So, Michaela, let me make sure my wand's on, my GHD. Got great noise there for letting me know I need to let it heat up a little bit more. Wow, gosh, look at you. That was a quick blow dry. And Michaela's got naturally curly hair, so she's got very, very curly hair. And if I turn her around for the camera, let's see here, you can see she's got this beautiful overall rosé brown. Actually, I'm turning around here. I'm looking for the light. There we go. We can see. So it's not like pieces of highlights of rosé brown in the brown. It's an overall tone of rosé brown all over. And this is because we did our fine baby light. So we all know if we did very heavy highlights that it would not give this a look. You've got to achieve, to get this look, it's got to be a fine weave all over. So now, what I'm going to be doing is I am going to put in a little bit of texture using my GHD. I don't know if any of you have seen this before. This is the GHD Curve Classic Wave Wand. So you see, let's see if we can get it on the camera there. Have you got that, Bob? Yeah, you can see that. Really unusual shape. It's not round, it's not like a curling iron, it's almost like an oval. I love this, and it's great for getting a nice little, just a slight bend in anyone's hair. Now, one thing I would like to say about being an avid colorist, it's very important what tools you use, and I love GHD because they only go up to 360 degrees, so they do not compromise the color on their hair. So first of all, I'm going to start off with a little bit of the EIMI Glam Mist all over, just light spray, because when the heat of the GHD tool goes on, it's going to seal in that shine from our Glam Mist. Just taking a couple of sections here and there, just to add in a little bend.
Sonya, as you create your bend, we have a couple questions here. From North Wales, what is your favorite color? We also have, can you use Color Fresh to enhance natural level like 8-stroke-03 on a natural level 7? Okay,
let's do the first one. So the first question was, so my first question was, what's my favorite color? And I love reds, I love coppers, but as far as what range of colors, I am an addict of Color Fresh Create. I absolutely love it, and for me, nothing gets the shine any better, and I use almost Color Fresh Create on all my clients. My own hair is permanent hair color with Color Fresh Create on top. So there's so many opportunities to be able to use Color Fresh Create. So the second question was using a color on Color Fresh or Color Fresh Create on natural hair. So the question was, can you use Color Fresh to enhance natural color? Natural hair color will not lighten with Color Fresh. It is a semi-permanent, a true semi-permanent acid color. So it's not mixed with anything. So it will not lighten or anything. So it will add a bit of tone, but whether you'll see that tone because of that natural hair color, especially if it's dark, you won't see the tone at all. If the hair's a natural level 5 and you put on Color Fresh a level 8, you're not going to see it. I hope that answers it for that person. So I'm just using my GHD tool, just wrapping it round, twisting the ends, and then taking it out. And you can see it creates this lovely, almost like S wave in it. I don't want much in there. I just want a little bit of movement to just add to Michaela's hair. And I'm pivoting round just the top area. I'm not going to do the bottom. So putting it in, wrapping it round, holding it for a couple of seconds, and then letting go. When I let go, I'm holding it, if we can get a close-up of that bob, holding it for a couple of seconds and just letting it fall out. And that's what it gets you. On longer hair, it creates the most incredible wave, really does. So you can imagine when the hair's long, that it's soft, soft waves, very, very quickly, very easily. And GHD, excellent on hair that's being coloured because it's not going to compromise the colour. So okay, perfect. So I'm just going to go in some of these. In fact, I'm going to separate this one here.
Sonia, you have some hellos here from Ontario, Canada, from Phoenix, Arizona, from Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia? Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Gosh, social media is amazing.
Andrew Dunn says hello.
Oh, Andrew. I just saw Andrew last week in London. Hi, Andrew.
And we do have a comment here that it's a little challenging to see the Rosé brown, so we may need to move her in the light or kind of move her hair a little bit to see, because we can see it very well here in the room.
Yes. I think what I'm going to do, thank you, whoever said it's a little challenging to see. I can see it very strongly myself, but looking on the monitors, it does look, it's difficult to see. So I am going to move Michaela around in a minute so we can see this, the tone of it. Yes, so I did want to mention, if the hair's lightened too much and the highlights were like very light, like a cream, instead of having any gold in it, you will get pink highlights in a brunette. So it's important to keep the warmth in it. I do get, for the purposes of maybe not being able to see on the screen, it's difficult to see because it is a very subtle colour, but it's an overall tone. So I'm just going to do this piece as a last one. And I'm going to move her around so maybe you can see the colour a little bit stronger. Let me let that one cool. Just going to work with the mirror here to see if we can see that. Let's turn her around. Sorry, Michaela. Just going to put a little bit of Glam mist on. And I always like to spray the Glam mist on my hands after and just work through the top. So let's see how we can have Michaela so we can see that maybe a little bit more. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually lift it up for the camera to see if we can see that in there. Michelle, can you? Maybe as well, that's it. Can you see that in there? It's a bit deep. That's okay, not to worry. Actually, I'm sure we're going to be showing some afters. We're going to be showing some afters on her hair, and show some pictures because it's quite rosé here, but I totally understand. It's like taking pictures with your camera. You know, you can take different iPhones and it looks completely different in every picture. But I feel that if you're finding it difficult to see, I will make sure that you get to see it. But it is a really beautiful rosé brunette. But remember, a true rosé brunette is not light pink highlights on a level 5. It is a deeper tone. That's why I only lighten them up to more of an orangey gold. So it had a lot of warmth in it. I'm just turning around to see if we can see that in there. But important to see, actually I can see the tone a little bit more there. Is that how, can you see that, Bob, a little bit more? Or Rochelle? Yeah, oh there, actually, that's coming in, there. You can see that tone. That's it. There. Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is, remember, Madeline, my blonde, is coming back. So you can see the rosé tone in the brunette. And something I wanted to say about Michaela's hair is that when I spoke with her about having the rosé brunette, again, speaking about an opportunity, I was speaking with Michaela that she should try all different colours. She can try Colour Fresh Create in like a purple or a violet, and she can also try Colour Fresh in more natural tones. So these highlights are an opportunity to set Michaela up in the next few months with all different tones that she can have. This is something I'm really big on with my clients in the salon. My clients are coming into the salon now having done to their hair the things I had consultation with them about a good 6 months ago. So now when they come into the salon, I'm talking about fall, winter, even though it's summer, I'm talking about what's going to be going on, what I suggest to their hair in the 6 months for fall, winter. So I'm always setting them a roadmap, let's say a roadmap or a GPS of what I feel would be good for their hair, so they know I've got their back. So we were chatting and Michaela said, what do you think about caramel someday? And I said, caramel would be amazing. It's as simple as putting on another Colour Fresh or Colour Fresh Create on these highlights. So I think we have our model ready. Madeline, I think, is Madeline ready? I'm just looking at, oh, yes, she is. So shall I take the cape off? Perfect. Let's take our cape off, Michaela. Oopsie, don't want to strangle you. There, we take this off. And if anyone can't see the rose brown on Michaela's, don't worry, I will make sure that you can at some point. There, that's it. And, oh, gosh, wow, Madeline, that is a beautiful, beautiful rose blonde. Let's look at that. So very, very soft. You see, when this colour went on, the colour it looked quite pinky. And you could see as I was applying it, it looked quite reddish. In fact, I've still got some left in the bowl here. And the colour does look quite red. Remember I said that it's more like watercolour. So it's very, very, very soft. Really, really soft. So Madeline, it's almost, what I love about this rosé blonde is that it's almost iridescent. You can see when I comb her hair here for the camera that it is iridescent. It's almost like a pearlized rosé. And remember, Madeline's hair, it's very, very light. Her hair was lightened up to a white blonde. So these tones in here are really beautiful. So imagine this formula on someone with... Ah, yes, bring up the before shot. Thank you. Oh, wow, yes, Mark, that's great. So that's Madeline's before shot. And now you can see, and especially with the hair down, it's very rosé. Sometimes you have to realize what it was like before. So for any clients that you have that have any gold in the hair when the hair's pre-lightened, it will really pick up a bit deeper. So if there's more gold, sometimes you need to use less of the 5/5/5. So I think there's our two, I think it's Rosé all day today. I'm just checking that they... So thank you so much for being with me. Thank you, Michaela.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madeline.
Thank you.
Thank you, Modern Salon and Wella Professionals, and have a great rest of the day.